If you're thinking of starting an e-commerce brand, stop where you are. Look, there's a silent killer in this space, and it's not your competition, bad products. And what it is it's something that actually convinces you that you're ready to go forward when you're actually not. So you skip the crucial steps thinking that you know it all, but that's the illusion. It's this like false sense of I got this, and it's actually what makes you miss a whole bunch of things in this business. And I know because I've watched this happen over and over again. Clients, they might scale up to $10,000 per month or $20,000 per month, and then they crash. Not because the idea was bad, but because it was built on ego and assumptions and not process. For those that are new here, my name is Sasha Karabut, and I'm not guessing with all of this. I've been exactly where you are. At one point in my life, I was buried in over $137,000 of debt, and I thought I could outsmart the system. I couldn't. It broke me. And once I submitted to structure, everything worked out. I went on to build 2 8-figure brands, and I've now generated over $75 million in client results. And in this video, I'm breaking down the one psychological trap that silently kills most e-commerce brands before they even get off the ground. I'm going to reveal what it is, how it shows up, and the day-to-day decisions it impacts, and how to actually beat it. It could save you years of wasted time, thousands of dollars, and the pain of rebuilding from failure. So watch closely until the end. Have you ever watched someone explain how a bicycle works? They start with confidence. Oh yeah, simple. You pedal, the wheels turn, and you start to move forward. But ask them to sketch it out, the gear mechanisms, or explain how the chain adjusts. And suddenly they start stuttering. All of that confidence fades very quickly, and they won't be able to explain things very clearly. The same goes for e-commerce founders looking to actually start their business. You start with this understanding until you're asked to demonstrate your knowledge. So this is the gap between what you think you know and what you actually know. And it's not just like some funny trick in the mind, it's a documented cognitive biases. Studied by psychologists Leonard Rosenblit and Frank Keel, this mindset is called the illusion of explanatory depth. And so in simple terms, all it really means is you often think you completely understand something until you're forced to really explain it, or perhaps do it. And it's only then when you realize that you never really understood it in the first place. You just thought that you did. And in business, this illusion is particularly lethal, especially in an e-commerce business. And so what this looks like is you start thinking, I've got it. So you skip some of the foundational work required for your business success. Because most of the time, people just binge watch content, maybe take a $500 course, or maybe watch 2 or 3 YouTube breakdowns on dropshipping. They get all motivated, they feel all confident, and they feel like they're ready. But then it's time to do the real work, like validating a product or understanding customer acquisition cost, maybe even solving fulfillment logistics. And that's when the initial confidence collapses. So instead of facing what they don't know, most skip the hard parts and they go straight for logo colors or launching a Shopify theme while ignoring the foundational aspects. And this is where the downfall actually begins. Even after telling you this, I can already hear the voice in your head. Okay, Sasha, I'll follow a plan. I just need to find the right product. But that thought is the illusion itself, because e-commerce is about attention and not product. I've seen it everywhere. Gurus telling people that e-commerce is about finding the most perfect product to sell. So founders chase this like trending item, clever design, or a supplier that nobody else knows about. And people think that they understand this game because they've watched a few videos about winning products. But ask them to actually explain how attention flows, how CPMs behave, or how to build an owned audience, and they have absolutely no hope. And that belief is the exact reason those founders never make it past the first 6 months. So this means that you're in an attention arbitrage. Your success is dictated by one question. Can you capture attention at a lower cost than your competitors? And that's it. And so if you can do that, you can survive. If you can't, your business starves. It doesn't matter how good your product is if no one sees it, or it costs more to get it in front of them than what you earn from them. This is where most first-time founders go wrong. They get lucky maybe with a viral product or a trending ad, and they ride the wave for a month, and they convince themselves that they're geniuses. But as soon as the algorithm shifts, CPMs spike, or competition enters the space, they're dead in the water because they never understood the foundation and they were renting attention instead of owning attention. And so the brands that last, they build what we call an attention infrastructure. This is email lists, SMS audiences, ambassador programs, communities, and affiliates. And these are assets that give you control. So they make their businesses anti-fragile, such that when ad prices rise or a platform changes its rules, these brands keep selling, they keep scaling, and they keep profiting while everyone else scrambles to fix broken campaigns and wonders why nothing's working. If you're entirely dependent on paid traffic, you're essentially on a timer. You're building a house on someone else's land. And the moment the rules change, your cash flow evaporates. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So if you're just getting started, one of the smartest things you can do is to treat attention like equity. Build lists, build loyalty, build a pipeline of owned communication. Otherwise, the second you turn off your ads or they stop converting, you have nothing. Next, the third consequence of illusion of explanatory depth is that it makes you delusional. Even if you enter into the e-commerce industry with all the possible knowledge, it still doesn't matter if you don't understand what to do next and in which order to execute on. Because information alone isn't what gets you results. Execution is. And most people never get far enough to execute well because they don't follow a process. The biggest killer of early stage brands is decision fatigue. It's chaos, right? It's like waking up every single day, 20 things on your to-do list and no clarity on what you should actually do. When you don't have a clear process, your brain will default to whatever it feels easiest to do in the moment. You redesign your logo, you start building a website before you've validated an offer, you write Instagram captions before you've mapped out a real conversion funnel, and then you wonder why you feel so busy and so stuck. This happens because most new entrepreneurs think they understand how to build an online business, but when they actually try and do it, they realize they don't. And that exactly is the illusion of explanatory depth in its purest form. This essentially just looks like doing the right thing in the right sequence, and it really is the only thing that matters. That's what process gives you. It's a system that protects your focus and then multiplies your momentum. Every task builds on the last one and every action moves you forward. And when you follow it, you gain clarity, speed, and confidence. So if you're serious about building something real, you need to lock into a specific structure. You need a blueprint that protects you from these illusions and all of the assumptions. One that forces you to master each level before you climb to the next. Because without that, you're not running a business, you're just spinning your wheels with no traction. Let's say you get through the early chaos. You've picked a good product, you've figured out how to go out and get attention, and it even works for you. Don't assume that it will work forever, because that's the fourth consequence. It makes you believe that your success will last. So you can stop working. Just like this. Suppose you're generating $15,000 a month in revenue, and in that moment, most founders make the exact same mistake. They assume that what got them to 15K will carry on to 100K. And it won't, because scaling doesn't just expose the holes in your business, it multiplies them. So every inefficiency turns into a massive system failure. And unless you've built a core infrastructure to absorb growth, your own success will bury you. The first system that collapses under pressure is the operations. And when you're small, it's easy to manage. But once you start growing, everything compounds. Suddenly, just one supplier delay backs up your entire timeline. One fulfillment error creates dozens of angry customers and then bad reviews. One inventory miscount turns into hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars of refunds. And you realize that momentum without structure is just organized chaos. And so right after operations, cash flow starts choking. People assume that high margins mean financial safety, but that's a lie. You can be running on 40% profit on paper and still be broke because your expenses are immediate and your revenue is delayed. Facebook bills you every day. Your suppliers, they want to deposit up front, right? Shipping takes a week to get to the customer, right? Stripe or Shopify takes 3 to 5 days to clear funds if they don't hold them. And when cash is going out faster than it's coming in, it doesn't matter how much profit you're making. Your business dies because of suffocation. Then there's fulfillment. When you scale quickly, the speed and the quality of your delivery experience can't keep up. It has to improve. Expectations rise with growth. One late package when you're small is a bit of an inconvenience to the customer. 100 late packages when you're scaling is a flood of chargebacks, bad reviews, and ad account bans, right? Marketing is the most dangerous illusion of all. And it doesn't happen because you stop doing it. It happens because you keep doing it the same way. Founders fall in love with what worked at 10,000 per month. Offers get stale, creatives fatigue, channels shift, and unless you built a system to test, iterate, and evolve, you'll get outpaced by a newer, hungrier competitor. And finally, the last thing to collapse is leadership. You think you can keep managing it all, but the bigger you grow, the more your team needs clarity and direction. And if you haven't built any systems to perhaps delegate, prioritize, or hold people accountable, you, my friend, become the bottleneck. Every decision runs through you. Every task stacks on your to-do list. And eventually, you're not leading a business, you're basically babysitting the mess you've created. So what do you do to beat this illusion of explanatory depth? It's quite simple. You have to replace your ego with structure. And in e-commerce, that structure comes from systems before you actually need them. Start by documenting every key task in your business as a simple SOP. Even if you're just a solo founder, this gives you so much more clarity today and then makes that delegation process or hiring process so much easier tomorrow. Then set up a cash flow forecast that tells you how much money is coming in and then what is going out when, so you're not blindsided by expenses even when you're profitable. Next, refine your fulfillment process before complaints start. Know who handles delays, what your shipping times really are, and how you'll respond to issues. And systemize your marketing by building a testing process. Track what creatives work, how often you rotate them, and then which messages or offers drive sales. Most importantly, build leadership habits early. Set weekly priorities for yourself and the team that you have. Hold short check-in meetings and define who owns what, even if it is just you for now. Because if everything runs through you, you're the bottleneck. Systems don't make your business boring, they make it bulletproof. But you need to work on them early so that as you scale, your business won't collapse. So the question isn't just, can you build a brand? It's whether you still know what to do when you realize you didn't understand it as well as you thought. Now, if you're still watching this, you already know you're not here for fluff. You want to build something real. And what you just got was a raw, unfiltered look at just how brutal the game really is. And everything I just said is exactly what we've solved inside of the e-commerce accelerator. You get the infrastructure, you get the process, you get the clarity, and you get the team who has walked this road hundreds of times with real people, real revenue, and real results to back it up. This is the exact system that we've used to help clients do over $75 million in sales, and we've managed over $30 million in ad spend, and even produced multiple million-dollar earners. So here's the next move. Book a demo and you can speak to someone in our team. We'll walk you through exactly how we help people just like you start and scale and systemize real e-commerce brands by helping you kill the illusion before it kills your business. We'll show you how to remove the confusion, shorten the timeline, and then bulletproof your execution so you are not the one looking back 6 months from today saying, I wish I started sooner.